Welcome to the Greenlight Investor for the week ending May 22nd, 2015. The goal of the Greenlight Investor is to provide a resource to make managing your 401k both a simple and easy process. We do this by using red, green, and yellow cells to help you decide when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell. This presentation is for informational purposes only and should not be taken as personal investment advice. The examples shown are exactly that. They are examples of how you can use this worksheet to help make investment choices within your 401k. Please refer to your own investment policy to make sure that the choices you make are appropriate for your investment time horizon, as well as your understanding and acceptance for taking risk in markets. Let's go ahead and take a look at this week's worksheet. On the left side, we have the investment choices that are available to you within your 401k. The columns are as follows. We have the fund number to the left. We then highlight the symbol, the fund name, and the description of each of the funds. If you'd like to take a closer view at what's inside of each fund and do some fundamental research, simply click on the hyperlink button and it'll take you to an outside resource where you can take a look at the fund, see how it's performing. You can find out what the top holdings are within the fund and a quick profile of what's available to the fund. The funds are arranged with the core investments on top. These are the index funds. And as you scroll down, you'll see the money market, the fixed income, the U.S. growth and income funds, the U.S. equity funds, the international funds that are available to you, and then the sector funds that are available to you. They're arranged such that the more conservative funds are towards the top of this chart, and as you progress down the worksheet, the funds tend to be a little bit more aggressive. Next, in the center section, we highlight the performance each week for all of the funds available to you. We'll show the closing price, the month-to-date return, the quarter-to-date return, and the year-to-date return. The reason that this is shown is because it's important to keep track of how your funds are doing against your objectives, the returns that you're looking to get compared to both the market and the other funds available in each of the categories. To us, it's important that you always try to stay in the strongest funds and stay away from the weaker funds. And to help you do that, we also have a very unique set of columns that are called our weekly trends. This is the relative strength section, and not only do we show the performance, but we'll show which of the funds are performing the strongest and which ones are performing the weakest. Column V shows the week-over-week trend score change. When you see a green cell highlighted, those are the stronger performing funds relative to each other on a week-over-week basis. And when you see the red cells highlighted, those will be the funds that have performed the weakest on a week-over-week basis. The brighter the color, the larger the move in either direction, either plus or minus. To the right of column V will show the cells will show the relative strength each week. If you see a green cell, that means that you're generally trending higher. And when you see a red cell, you'll see that that fund has generally been trending lower. We also have numerical values so you can follow the trend. In this case, you see that the number was 197, 206, and 195. So that's generally been going sideways. And here we have, on this fund, we'll see that we've had a 0.71, 1.09, and then a 0.67. So that shows that the fund's been up and down, again, generally going sideways. When you look at the relative strength columns, when you start to see a lot of red showing up, it's generally a good time to stay away from these funds as they tend to be weakening. Scroll down and we're seeing the same, just a slight weakening in the U.S. growth and income funds. Our U.S. equity funds are also showing just a slight bit of weakening. And the international funds have been performing the strongest, but you're seeing a red light, so this one's generally been going sideways. And finally, as we go down to the sector funds, we'll see that these have generally been going sideways and staying with a lot of green lights to the right side. Here's one of the few funds that has been going higher on a week-over-week basis for 2 weeks in a row. So later we'll consider allocating capital to this fund because it has been performing better than the majority of the funds in the entire worksheet. Let's go ahead and go up to the top. Okay, with this information, let's see how we can use this as a simple and easy process for managing your allocation within your 401k. Let's go ahead and click on our view, and we'll go over to the custom views. And in capital letters, you'll see my current allocation. If you highlight that and then click on show, we'll bring out a section of our worksheet that will show the actual allocations. In this case, it's a hypothetical example. It's not an actual, but it will show you how you could manage your actual allocations. On the top cell, what we'll do is we'll put the amount of capital or the percentage of capital that we want to put towards the index funds. And right now we have a 10% allocation that's in the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index. So we're going to go ahead and keep that. Let's go ahead and scroll down and see what else we have. We currently have a 10% allocation to our money market, and this one currently holds 15% because we moved out of our fixed income investment and moved that to money market because we were seeing a lot of red cells pop up. Here we're showing a 5% allocation to our U.S. growth and income, and when we highlight the cell, our allocation is currently 5% invested in the Vanguard Balanced Index Fund. Our U.S. equity, we have a target allocation of 30%, and we're showing in the yellow cell that it is 30% invested. Here we have 20% allocated to the growth index, and we have a 10% allocation to the prime cap fund. We also can scroll down further and see that we have a 30% allocation to the international funds. We do have 30% invested, and that's divided between two funds, with 20% in the Global Equity Fund and 10% in the Vanguard Pacific Index Fund. And finally, we have a 10% allocation to our sector funds. 5% is in the financial services, and another 5% is in the science and technology. So to go ahead and see if there's any changes that need to be made on a week-over-week basis, we'll simply slide our spreadsheet over so we can see if we're staying in the green zones. What we're looking ideally for is in column W, column V, and column U. I said that backwards, but these are the three columns, U, V, and W. What we're looking to see is a green cell to the left of column V and a green cell to the right of column V. As long as those are staying in the green zone, those are okay. And then we can look at the performance numbers on a year-to-year basis, on a yearly basis, and we'll see how we're performing. Our current allocation to this first fund, we're seeing we have the 10% allocation, and with the green light and the green light, we're just fine. And our benchmark with the U.S. equity funds is a 4.72% return for the year. So let's scroll down and see how we're doing. We have a money market fund with 15%. And earlier we'd mentioned that we want to move that over to the healthcare fund towards the bottom in the sectors. That's one of the ones that has been performing well. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's change this back down to our 10% allocation. And what we're going to do, let's go down to our healthcare fund, which was down in the sector fund. It's right there, it says next to the bottom. And what we'll do is we'll add, let's go ahead and first change this. We're making an election to move this to 15% allocation, and we're going to move 5% that was in fixed income. We're now going to hold this over in our healthcare fund. And let's go ahead and move this target back down to 0, since we're going to stay out of our fixed income for now until we start to see those turn a little bit greener. In our fixed income, we're seeing a lot of red and yellow to the left, and we're seeing a lot of red all the way over on the right side. So this is a good indication that there's no real interest in staying in this fund as long as we can see other areas where we have more green lights. In our U.S. Growth and income funds, we're seeing that we primarily have green cells to the left, and we're seeing kind of a mix to the right, but the 5% allocation we have is all right because we're still seeing the green cell and the green cell to the left and the right of column V. Now our U.S. equity funds, we're seeing a green cell to the left and the right, and again in column U to the left of column V, we're seeing a green cell and a green cell. So there's nothing to do in these, so we'll leave those alone for the week. And our international funds, we're also seeing the green light and the green light for both of our selections, so we'll leave those alone. And finally, we have the new allocation down to our sector funds, and in our financial sector at top, we're seeing the bullish and the green light to the left and the right. Here we're seeing a yellow light and a green light. So with the yellow light, that's giving us a flag, but we'll go ahead and stay allocated to this. We'll check it again next week, and if that turns red or if we see another fund, this looks like it's been performing well, and with very consistent numbers to the right, we're seeing that this is probably a relatively conservative fund. So if the markets are turning with more red lights, we could possibly change over to this. And finally, let's take a look. This is our new allocation. We're seeing that it's got a green light, and one reason that I chose this week is that we're seeing for 2 consecutive weeks that the numbers are getting higher. So this fund is actually strengthening, and that's confirmed with the bright green light in column V. That's all there is for checking your allocations each week. Try to make this a real simple and easy process so that it's a painless way to keep track of how your funds are doing within your 401k. The goal of the green light system is to provide a simple and easy set of guidelines to help you navigate your choices within your 401k. That's what I've got for this week. I hope it's been helpful and gives you some ideas and resources for managing your 401k choices. To find out more how the Green Light Investor can help make sense of your 401k, you can visit our website at thegreenlightinvestor.org, or you can always send me an email if you'd like to have a personal correspondence on how you might be able to set up your allocation using the Green Light Investor system. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.